It's the Relapse and Recovery Chronicles. the relapse and the recovery, the relapse and recovery chronicles, the recovery and relapse chronicles, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I guess I'm back with part two because sometimes I don't even watch my videos. I just upload them. And what I noticed was it cut off on me. It really did. It cut off on me. So what I left off on was my sponsor telling me that it was just all these blessings that I was getting was just God giving me back, the things that I had so freely given to those when I was in my addiction. And there's a misconception about when you're in your addiction, you're ruthless. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But some people aren't. I'm going to say it was very few and far in between that I ran into somebody like me, but I was very conscientious of how I treated people out there because I hadn't been through rehab before and I hadn't been through the recovery process, and I knew what that fourth step would look like if I went to fucking over people. I also understood that it was going to be a lot harder emotionally, mentally, and spiritually if I treated people bad while I was in my addiction in order to get that drug. Everybody don't think like that. No, by no means am I better than anybody. I did some of the same sorry, sleazy, stupid shit that other people do in order to get their drugs. But I paid attention to how I treated people. And if I mistreated you, I always tried to come back and correct that. The hood can vouch. I wasn't the kind of person who just went around stealing. I hadn't seen too many people get themselves hurt like that, and it just wasn't worth the risk. The dope wasn't worth the risk. The money wasn't worth the risk, and everybody just didn't go for me. Those seeds that I planted, I see the fruit of those seeds now. And let me tell you something. Those principles that you learn when you're in recovery, when you're going through that process of the steps, those principles apply wherever you go. Those principles apply in and out of your addiction. You will see the same fruits if you apply them in and out of your addiction. Period. And I can honestly say that God blessed my game when I came out of this addiction, man. So I can honestly say that you get what you give, man. That is the truth. That is law. That is law. It is a universal law. It is a principle that cannot be broken, bent, turned. It's like I heard somebody say, those universal laws are there whether you know them or not. It's just like gravity. It's holding you down whether you know what it is or not. Without it, you'd be floating. Simple as that. But I did another video, but I accidentally erased it, and I was talking about the visions part. And I went into exactly one of the reasons why I ended up relapsing, and it was kind of because I was mourning a vision that I had for myself when I was younger. And I think a lot of us go through that. We have these hopes, dreams, and aspirations of what it is that we want to do and what we see ourselves doing, and due to different circumstances, situations, whatever the case may be, it doesn't end up going the way you planned it out or panned it out in your head. And so you get sad. You get sad, and sometimes you get real resentful, mad. And then sometimes you just start to punish yourself for the fact that the shit didn't happen the way you wanted it to. Now, there are different reasons why. You can definitely hold yourself accountable and say you didn't do the work, you didn't have the guidance, you didn't know how to get to where it was you were going, or just plain know your environment kept you from doing what it was you felt like you wanted to do in your life. But those are all excuses, because anything that you really want, whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. But sometimes we block ourselves because we don't believe enough. The desire isn't strong enough. We don't have blinders on, and we're looking too much into what other people are going to think about our dreams, hopes, and aspirations, and we still become real resentful. And that's something that I went through. I went through being very resentful at a lot of different people in my life because my dreams didn't pan out the way that I wanted them to. I felt like if you would have just been there a little bit more, if you would have helped me do this or if you would have did that, or if I could have did this, it would have been, when really, I have to take full responsibility for things not panning out the way that I wanted it to. But at the same time, when it didn't happen, I was still sad. What I was doing in my addiction is what I want to say is mourning my dreams. There's a certain kind of depression that comes when you don't get to live out your dreams, when you're blocked from creating the highest version of yourself. There's a depression that sets in. And if you don't know how to recreate yourself, if you don't know how to reinvent yourself, revamp yourself, and tailor your dreams to the growing you, the new you, the now you, you're going to always be mad, hurt, and upset, and you're going to always find yourself in this merry-go-round, this cycle of destruction, self-sabotage and things like that. You have to really understand and know that you came here to learn. That's one of the main reasons we are here on earth, just to learn, really to remember. But that's deep. That's just too deep for right now to remember. But to learn and take what you learn and direct it to a certain means, because knowledge is not power unless you know what to do with it. Other than that, you just know a bunch of shit. You know a whole bunch of shit, but you still ain't shit. That was me. Smartest motherfucker in the room. Doing the dumbest shit in the world. And everybody could see it. Everybody could see it in me except for me. It took for me to be able to see it in order for things to change. That's where the vision comes in at. You have to create a vision for yourself. When you fall down, you get back up. And if that fall then took you to a place where you know certain visions that you had for yourself are not going to be obtainable, or they're not going to look the way you thought they should look, change the vision. Switch the vision up. That doesn't mean you still can't be great. It just means that you may not be able to be great at that or exactly that. I feel like I wanted to be a rapper. Now I feel like I just want to do music. And either way it go, no matter what I'm doing in the music field, I'm going to be great at it. Period. Recreating the vision and making sure that you feel good about the vision. Because you can hold on to a certain vision, and when you get older, the fact that you're holding on to it make you sad. Certain visions just don't fit who you are anymore. And you have to let it go. You have to mourn it. Mourning visions. Mourning the visions you had as a child. And creating new visions for yourself as an adult is important. And especially coming out of addiction. And I can't stress enough how important it is to create a vision for yourself when you're new in recovery. Even if it's just baby steps, all your vision is becoming that person that always attends meetings, or a person that's always doing service. If that's not you, but you feel like you want that to be you, start envisioning that and make that you. Make that happen. Take baby steps until you see something that sparks a fire in you, and you say, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. Or it's something that you have in your heart that you've never seen anybody do, but you start coming up with ways on how to get there. Start small, then go big. But you have to have a vision in order to sustain your recovery. Is basically all I'm saying. You have to have a vision in order to sustain happiness. You have to have a vision in order to sustain yourself and keep growing. You have to have vision. Simple as that. All right, y'all. This was the Relapse and Recovery Chronicles Part 2. I gave y'all 2 videos in one day. Yay! Yay! Just want to show y'all, yeah.